Hello and welcome to the virtual orientation for the Thousand Islands event. So I hope you're looking forward to this year's race. It's obviously the cornerstone of the race, is running in the tunnel. If you haven't done the Brockville tunnel before, either just as a tourist or as an athlete, it's something you have to kind of see to believe. So come take a look at the tunnel, come see the rest of the festivities, and we look forward to seeing you at the start line. For the purposes of this orientation, I'll break it into 5 sections. It's very chronological, naturally. We'll talk about pre-race, then the swim, the bike, and the run course, and then talk about post-race. There's kind of a lot of content to go through, so let's get to it. For pre-race, I'll use my cursor here for a bit, but the entire race is going to be hosted out of Centene Park in Brockville. Centene Park right over here. So what we're going to do is a bib pickup on site the day before the race. So if you want to show up one day before the race on August 10th, we'll be setting up all morning, but then in the afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m., you'll be able to come by, pick up your bib, kind of get a lay of the land, see the course all set up, ask any questions you might have, and get ready for race day the following day on August 11th. On the day before the race, on August 10th, we'll also do an in-person orientation. So we know that Brockville isn't necessarily home to all of you, so if you're not coming down until race day, we hope that this video helps you kind of get orientated on the course and whatnot. But if you are able to make it down on August 10th, we recommend stopping by around 5 p.m. and we'll do about a 30 to 45 minute course orientation where we'll physically walk you around and show you the swim course, show you the bike course, show you the finishing chute, the T-zone and whatnot, and give you an in-person look at how things are going to roll out. If it's your first time doing it, it's a great way to familiarize yourself with the course. But if you did this course last year in 2023, it'll be the same. The course has not changed from last year, so if you've done it before, same old kind of thing. Now my biggest suggestion, in addition to doing the in-person orientation, is to pick up your bib the day before. Picking up your bib the day before helps make race day go a lot smoother. It's one less thing to do, and it's one less thing on your checklist. So if you are in town or nearby the day before, we recommend picking up your race bib then. So now let's talk about the morning of. So we'll go again kind of in chronological order. When you show up, the race is going to be here at Centene Park, but you're going to have to park first, unless you're arriving by car or by bike or walking and whatnot. There's plenty of parking over here at Blockhouse Island. This is a big parking lot over here. There's plenty of room for most people. If that fills up, there's plenty of community parking just outside of the screen here, kind of right over here and around here. So you can park anywhere where you're able to find community parking if the Blockhouse Island parking lot fills up. So once you park here or here, then you can ride your bike to the start line and pick up your race bib there if you haven't done it already. Once you do that, you have kind of the usual flow, I'm using air quotes here, of a triathlon. So you're going to pick up your bib, and then once you have that, you'll go get your body marking done, you'll get your timing chip, then you'll be able to put your bike into transition zone and get warmed up, get set up, yada yada yada. If all that sounds a little foreign to you, or if it's your first triathlon, let us know. We have all kinds of helpful links on how to do these things and how to kind of set up for the morning of a triathlon. We'd be happy to forward you some videos and other content, but that's kind of the morning of. We highly recommend that you show up on site 1 hour before your start time. So we'll be set up on site starting around 7 or 7:15. If you show up before that, we won't be ready for you, so don't get too early and you don't get too eager. But if you show up at 7 or 7:15, that's great. But if your race isn't until 9 or 10 o'clock, there's no need to show up at 7 a.m. You can show up just 1 hour before the start of your race. And that 1 hour might sound like a lot of time, but it's amazing how fast it flies by. Again, if you have to go get your bib, your body marking, your timing chip, get into transition, set up, get warmed up, and then get to the start line, that hour can fly by. And then lastly, late registration. If you want to sign up in person the day before the race or on the day of, you certainly can, subject to spots still being available. In 2023, the event did sell out, so we're expecting it hopefully to sell out again, which is excellent news. We're glad to see so many people enjoying this wonderful venue. But at the same time, that means you do have to plan ahead. If you have any friends or yourselves that want to sign up and do this race, make sure you don't wait to the last minute, because we don't want to be the ones disappointing you and saying, hey, there's no more spots left. So make sure you head over to somersault.ca and sign up early for this race, just so you can come and enjoy Brockville with us. Now the swim course, it's going to be a beach start. We say beach, but there's no sand. Right behind this start line is a staircase that leads into the water. This area here is a really popular scuba diving area, and there's kind of plenty of scuba diving courses going on, and there'll be some things under the water to kind of see as you swim over it. But what we'll do is what we call a chip timing, not a gun timing start. So everyone's going to line up on shore, kind of a nice single file line going like this. And we'll go 3, 2, 1, go. And people will kind of file into the water one at a time, and they'll do their swim course. So if you can follow the map here, the course is generally alphabetical. So you'll start here, you'll go around buoy A, B, C, D, E, and F, and you'll come back to the finish line. If you're doing a 1,500 meter swim, you'll do 2 loops. So you'll go in the water, go around buoys A, B, C, D, E, F, and then do a second loop, just like that. And then for anyone doing the 200 meter loop, it's just going to be a short little 200 meter and back. Simple as that. But with chip timing, the nice thing is that your time won't start until you cross into the water, which means unless you plan on being one of the first ones out of the water, there's no need to be one of the first ones into the water. Make sense? So when you line up on shore, you'll try and line up in order of ascending or descending speed. So faster swimmers at the front kind of making a line. It's not a perfect science, it doesn't have to be exact, but it's a good chance for you to kind of shuffle into the right spot, meet some of your fellow competitors and ask, hey, how fast do you swim? How often do you train? Where do you train? So on and so forth, and try and find a spot where you think, yeah, I might fit into this group here. That way it minimizes the amount of passing on the course. You're not passing a bunch of people, and a bunch of people aren't passing you. The day goes a lot smoother when everyone kind of stays in their spot and is well seated, but we totally understand that it's not an exact science. The last reminder here is smile for the camera. We'll have finisher pics on site. Right as you come out of the water, we've got a nice camera spot there. They're going to get those epic photos of you coming out of the water and kind of emerging out of the St. Lawrence and heading on to your bike course. Speaking of the bike course, here it is. So you'll come out of the water, right over here, grab your bike where it says transition zone. Once you get your bike, you'll walk or run over to the mountain line. Now the course here is a quick little up Ford Street and over. The only hill on the course really is Ford Street. So it's kind of a silly one. You only have about 500 meters or 400 meters to get your speed up before you go up the hill. But the good news is that once you're up the hill, it's smooth sailing. From the top of the hill, you go all the way down King Street East or Highway 2 to the turnaround, and you'll come back. We'll have a security vehicle or a police officer at the far course to make it obvious. We'll put a sandwich board out there that says athletes turn here, and we'll put some cones out, but we know that it can be easy to miss those cues, so we'll have an actual vehicle with the lights on at the turnaround point. Keep an eye out for that, do the turn, and come all the way back. If you're doing our Olympic distance events, which is a 40K bike ride, you got to do 2 loops. So you'll turn at the top of the hill and head back, which is good news for most people. Most people don't want to do Ford Street twice. So if you're doing that second loop, you do a U-turn at the top of King Street East here, and you head on back. So you only do that hill once when you're going out, and once when you're coming back to the finish line. So for anyone that's finishing, you'll come down Ford Street to where you started, go to the same dismount line, and put your bike back. Similar kind of cues, and we say smile for the cameras. We try and get a photographer up there for the bike course. We have a few of them from finisher pics, but it's often hard to get someone from the swim and the bike and the run to capture all those moments at the same time. So if you see them, great, but if not, we'll get some really good candid shots, we hope, of everyone on the bike course. Now the course will have kilometer markers going out and back, but it's important that you guys know whether you're doing 1 loop or 2 loops. There's nothing worse than someone coming here and going, where do I go? And we have to try and on the fly figure out, okay, what color is their bib? Where are they going? How many loops have they done? So make sure you guys know ahead of time whether you're doing 1 loop or 2 loops. And then lastly, for our swim cycle athletes, so you'll do the swim, you'll do this bike course, and when you come back, there's one last thing you have to do. Even though you didn't sign up for a full triathlon, there's a small little run at the end. You'll have to run from the transition zone to the finish line. It's only about 40 meters, if that, but make sure you rack your bike. You can leave your helmet and your shoes on if you like, or you can get changed, and then zip on over to the finish line, and that's when your finishing time will be stamped. So your time does not stop till you cross the actual finish line of the race. So keep that in mind for anyone doing the swim cycle. And the last part of the race is everyone's favorite part, the tunnel, which is part of the run course. And it's actually a really, really nice course that they paved last year. So from the transition zone here, there's a bike path, which I was trying to say earlier. There's a bike path here that was paved in 2023, just weeks before the triathlon. So this section here is fresh asphalt. It's beautiful. And then once you get here, you're into Sifton Amag Prince Park. A small little run on grass and cobblestone here, and then it's straight through the tunnel and back. The tunnel plays all kinds of Canadian icons. We've got things like Our Lady Peace, the Tragically Hip, so on and so forth. So wonderful, wonderful sound show and a light show for you. We're going to increase the light volume this year to make it a little bit brighter, but the tunnel is nice. It's about 10 degrees cooler in there than it is out here, so it's a welcome break from the heat. And then we'll have a water station with F2C and water at the foot or the mouth of the tunnel there. So keep in mind that one loop is 2.5K, so going there and going back is 2.5K, so it's 1.25 out, 1.25 back, and then a U-turn at the T-zone here. So we'll have a sign saying finish, turn this way, or extra lap, U-turn. We'll put a volunteer there as well to make it as easy as possible, but make sure you know your loops, whether you're doing 1, 2, or 4 loops. And a loop is out and back. Excellent. So as long as you guys have that figured out, it's going to go a long way. And then, as I said before, smile for the camera. Hopefully you're having a fun day as it is, but smile through that grimace or smile through the pain if you can, and we'll capture some cool moments together with our Finisher Picks photographers. And that's it. Once the race is done, the real fun begins. We'll have some Libra non-alcoholic beer at the finish line. All of your photos will be available at photos.somersault.ca. It usually takes a couple days for it to go live, up to 72 hours, depending on how many photos there are and how much tagging we have to do. But the results will be at sportstats.ca pretty instantly. And if you see any issues with your timing, maybe the time was incorrect or is missing, or it's the wrong age or gender, whatever it might be, just go over and visit the Sports Stats tent or email corrections@sportstats.ca and we'll get that buttoned up for you. But make sure you guys stick around for a bit. We do a little award ceremony after if you'd like to stick around and try and get some fun podium shots and get that Instagram moment, if you will. But at that point, we hope that you had a great race and that you tell all your friends about it and that we see you at the next start line. So that's it for the Thousand Islands event. If you have any questions, let us know ahead of time. It's adam@somersault.ca. Otherwise, we can't wait to see you at the start line for this race, or ideally at bib pickup the day before. Thanks, and we'll see you in August.